name's Josie. I've been in the health and fitness business now for over 30 years. I started out as a fitness instructor in London, but about 20 years ago, I trained to become a Pilates instructor with Michael King, and my professional life changed considerably. Almost overnight, I started getting requests for one-to-ones, and I've continued to work independently ever since, enjoying the freedom and the control that this method of working has given me, not to mention the financial rewards. As you can imagine, over the years I've taken many training courses, but none have offered the practical information required to actually get out there and earn a living. I've learned a lot over the years, and I would love to share this information with you so that you too can have a rewarding, independent career as a Pilates instructor. Yes, of course, you'll learn classical Pilates mat work, but you also learn all the modifications and variations required so that you can successfully and safely tier teach mixed level groups. You'll learn the theory and the anatomy and physiology to give you a deeper understanding of your subject. You also learn how to assess posture, identify faulty ones, and learn how to address imbalances and correct them to help clients improve their health. I'll give you ideas on how to organize great classes together with warm-ups and balanced flowing sequences. I'm also going to help you become a highly competent instructor so that your clients keep coming back for more. Finally, I will share with you everything I know on the practicalities of setting up a business, from finding the space to marketing yourself so that people can find you. So if this is where you would like your professional life to be heading, let me help you. I look forward to seeing you soon. Hi there, and welcome to the Pilates Mat Work Teacher Training course. I'm Josie, and I'm so pleased that you decided to let me help you. I look forward to working with you. One important point before I tell you how to get the most out of this course is that you do have to pass an exam in order to get your certificate. So please work your way through slowly and methodically. So first and foremost, in order for you to be able to teach Pilates to others, you need to be an expert practitioner. So I have given you the beginner, the intermediate and the advanced level Pilates mat work sequence to work your way through alongside studying the course. There's some anatomy, physiology and some theory that you really need to know. It just gives you a deeper understanding of the subject, and you especially need to know those things that are specific to Pilates, like neutral position, like the core muscles. And clients will ask you, so you need to have this knowledge. So after that, we come on to the 24 lessons that have video support, and it's important that you learn both. You can't just do the video because some information will be missing. Take your time, get down on the floor. These will give you all the modifications and the variations that will be so important for all the different types of clients that will come into your classes. The next module will be all about running classes, becoming a better teacher and satisfying your clients, keeping them safe and making sure that they get a good, efficient workout to get the results that they want. Now lastly, I'm sharing some ideas with you on setting up business, all the things you need to know to keep you safe as well. So good luck. I really hope you enjoy the course. If you have any questions or feedback, please let me know.
Aims, outcomes and objectives. This classical Pilates mat instructor training course has been carefully mapped out to provide all the information required for students to become confident and competent Pilates instructors. The three main sections are Foundation, Assimilation and Evolution, Analysis, Comprehension and Demonstration, and Innovation, Application and Realization. The objectives of each section are as follows. By the end of section 1, students will be well on their way to becoming expert practitioners in the Classical Mat Pilates method and will be able to empathize with the journey future clients will take from beginning to advanced level. Have a full understanding of the history, fundamentals and principles of Pilates. Have an introductory knowledge of the anatomy and physiology of the core. Have grasped the concepts of core stability and core dysfunction. And finally, understand neutral position and thoracic breathing. By the end of section 2, students will be able to analyze each exercise, know the benefits of each exercise, know which muscles are involved in the biomechanics for each exercise, be able to offer modifications and variations for every exercise, be able to recognize poor technique and know how to correct it, know when and how to move clients to the next level or adapt to suit the client's needs, have gained an overview of anatomy and physiology and an in-depth knowledge of the Pilates powerhouse. By the end of section 3, students will know how to plan and prepare a Pilates session and how to create a balanced and safe sequence. Know how to create a warm-up in preparation and be able to bring a session to an appropriate close. Have a good understanding of posture types to ensure that the exercises are appropriate and fulfill the client's goals. Have learned how to effectively communicate with clients, useful teaching skills and class management skills. Know which special populations they can or shouldn't be teaching. Have a solid knowledge of health, safety and welfare and understand the importance and have a method for collecting, storing and analysing client information. Have learned some useful insights into setting up their own business.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I've enjoyed a long and rewarding career as a Pilates instructor. It was my love of Pilates that prompted my move into training the teachers, and I hope to be able to clarify what is an extremely confusing subject, the rules and regulations regarding teaching Pilates. Now, I've done an enormous amount of research on the subject over the past 12 months. The same questions come up time and time again and have a constant presence in the frequently asked questions sections on the websites of all the training providers. It's a topic of great concern and quite rightly. Training is very expensive and you need to know that you've made a good choice. We also need to know that we are acting legally. So, to the best of my knowledge, first and foremost, Pilates, like yoga and fitness in general, is an unregulated industry. Because of this, various licensing bodies and fitness industry organisations set themselves up as a way of assuring quality. The PMA for Pilates, ACE, REPS, to name but a few. There is no international Pilates certification, although many of us offer training all over the world. The closest I've found to any regulation is the Level 3 qualification in Pilates in England, but this doesn't mean you have to do this training to successfully become a Pilates teacher. There are many very good alternatives. There are times when it could be an issue, and I'll cover this a little later. So how do you choose the right training course? Well, endorsement, accreditation, approval by a third party is useful. It could be fitness industry specific or an organisation who has checked that the training meets recognised standards. In other words, will provide a good and thorough training experience. Pilates, like yoga, doesn't necessarily fall under the fitness umbrella. It actually sits well in the world of therapy and rehab. Read the reviews and testimonials. Yes, they could be fake, but honestly, most of us are far too busy to sit and make them up. Sometimes there's an option to book a call and talk to the trainer, who at least can take you through the structure of the course and answer any questions you might have. Obviously, you want to know if your trainer is well trained themselves. Who do they do their training with? How many years' experience do they have in the industry? You can generally find this information anyway in their biography. Compare courses and content. Any thorough Pilates course
should contain the history, the principles, the theory, and some Pilates-specific anatomy and physiology, exercise analysis and adaptations, how to plan and teach classes, some teaching skills, consideration for special populations, postural analysis, and, very importantly, health, safety, and legal considerations. What are their assessment methods? Some methods will suit you more than others. Cost and convenience are also going to be factors to consider. Now, if you need CEC or CPD points for those who belong to a fitness industry organisation, does the course provide them? The organisations in the United States, in my experience, are very open to discussion, and you can petition for points if you've completed unapproved training. Many of my students have successfully done this. You can check the PMA guidelines of what they consider should be included in a training course. Also, the UK National Occupational Standards for planning and instructing Pilates classes give a guide of what they consider relevant. You'll be better placed then to make up your own mind. Now, if your plans are to work for a studio, a gym, or a health club, you should check with them prior to choosing a training course to see if they have any strict rules or recommendations. This is particularly important in the UK, where the level 3 is often used as a benchmark. If you've worked for a studio for a while and want to add to your skills by training as a Pilates teacher, ask whether the training you would like to do is acceptable if you think that's necessary. If you're planning on doing your own thing, then go for the training course that you consider best suits your needs. A quick word about insurance. Training providers don't generally get involved with this topic. You can often get recommended discounted insurance if you're a member of a fitness industry organisation or something similar. Some of us have associations with insurance companies, so that's worth checking. I've checked with a broker, and their experience is that most insurance companies will arrange insurance for you. You don't need to go to an industry-specific company. Go through a broker if you need some help. But remember, if you're negligent, no amount of insurance is going to help you, so be responsible in your teaching, and a good training course will ensure that you're a highly competent instructor with all the necessary knowledge to keep you and your clients safe. Bear in mind also that certification or qualification doesn't automatically make a good teacher. You need to put the work in, continue to study and be the best you can be, always striving to give your clients the best possible experience. If you do your job well, your clients will be happy. So my recommendation is that you take a good look around, that you take your time, and that you choose the course that you believe will provide the knowledge that you need and that suits you best. Good luck. Pilates mat exercises. This is the analysis, the anatomy and physiology, the biomechanics and the adaptations. In an effective classroom, students should not only know what they're doing, but they should also know why and how. The job of the Pilates instructor is to teach their clients how to improve their posture through the practice of Pilates. An instructor needs to be able to ensure that their clients move through the exercises safely, effectively, and efficiently. Any Pilates instructor at whatever level should have a background knowledge of joint and muscle actions and be able to analyze the exercises. Being able to advise your clients where they should feel the work or the stretch will greatly help them improve their technique and body awareness. Understanding the muscles involved in an exercise and the purpose will enable the instructor to prepare balanced classes and give safe, effective workouts. Knowing the modifications will help the teacher teach. Everyone in class is unlikely to be at the same level. It's important to know progressions, modifications, variations, so that everyone in the class is satisfied. Having a little bank of imagery or visuals can really help improve your client's technique. And clients love to be educated. Tell them the benefits of the exercises. This will help them remain motivated. Open and closed kinetic chain exercises. This can be defined as the combination of several successively arranged joints working together to successfully complete a desired motor task of the body. A closed kinetic chain exercise is one in which the terminal joint meets with considerable resistance that prevents or restricts its freedom of movement. For example, supporting foot in shoulder bridge, leg pull up, pull down. Any exercise where one or more limbs are in contact with the floor. The benefits of closed kinetic chain exercises includes increased joint stability and functional movement patterns. An open kinetic chain exercise is a combination of successively arranged joints in which the terminal joint is free to move. These exercises allow for greater concentration on an isolated joint or muscle. The core series of 5 and single leg circles are good examples of open chain exercises, as are the side leg series, jackknife and scissors. Although closed kinetic chain exercises are often viewed as more functional, most activities involve both open and closed kinetic chain movements. So a good mix of both in a sequence is essential, which is just what Pilates does. In Pilates, whole body awareness is always taught, even when doing what would technically seem to be an isolation exercise. Take side kicks, raises, circles. Whilst you move only one leg, the rest of the body must stay still. The act of creating stability and balance in the rest of the body while sweeping a fully extended leg forward and back, up and down, round and round, requires every one of the Pilates principles and attention to engaging all the core muscles. It may look like it is isolating, but side kicks develops whole body awareness as much, if not more, than any traditional standing leg exercise. The roll up. A man is as young as his spinal column. So the first of the flexion exercises then. So I've had advanced, strong clients unable to roll up, and complete young beginners perform this exercise with ease. The difference is in the mobility of the spine and natural posture. Those with an excessive lordotic curve, that's an exaggerated curve of the lumbar area, will struggle to imprint their spine smoothly. Then there's the balance between spinal mobility and abdominal strength. So this is the second warm-up exercise in the original sequence and certainly loosens up the spine in preparation for some of the more challenging exercises to come. You'll find that clients have more success with this later on in the day because generally they're less stiff. And sometimes it's better to place this later in a class depending on the client or the focus for that particular day, unless you're using the complete matwork sequence. So what are the benefits? Probably the most important exercise in preventing and improving back problems due to strengthening the muscles of the core and encouraging the spinal segments to function correctly. By stretching the long back muscles, they switch off and relax, reducing stiffness and backache. So a lot of back problems, a lot of back pain come from the back muscles tensing up. Spinal mobility, creating space between the vertebrae. Long periods sitting can cause discompression and lead to premature degeneration. Flexibility for the back and hamstrings, and abdominal strength. Those are the main benefits. Anatomy. So the main muscles involved in this exercise are all the spinal flexor muscles to roll up. So you've got the core, you've got the external obliques, and you've got the rectus abdominis muscles. The core, as you roll over, reach forward to protect the spine and allow for freedom of movement, and also just to help keep the pelvis in that neutral position. It's very easy for clients to end up hinging at the hip and taking it more as a hamstring stretch, whereas with that up and over reaching forward, we really want to open out the spine. Squeezing the legs together and slightly turning out will recruit the adductors to assist rolling up. Try not to overuse the hip flexors and the glutes, so really focus in on the core. The spine really opens up and the spine extensors get a great stretch as you reach forward, as do the hamstrings and glutes. So I'm going to demonstrate the full roll-up first of all, and then I will break it down and show you some modifications. So starting with the arms back behind, a nice neutral spine to start with, and breathe. So we're going to inhale as we raise the arms. As we exhale, core muscles engage, slight tuck of the tailbone, and then smoothly peel the spine off the mat, vertebra by vertebra, coming up. Stack the spine as you flex the feet, and keeping the hips nice and still, scoop and hollow the belly, get those core muscles working to protect the spine. Up and over as you reach forward, and then inhale as you restack the spine, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, you tuck the tailbone. Keep the shoulders back, slowly roll down, chest nice and open, vertebra by vertebra, until you're all the way back down again. And then finally you take the arms back, keep connected, keep those core muscles switched on. One more time then. Inhale as you raise the arms, keep the chest open, and as you exhale, slight tuck of the tailbone, just to lengthen out through that lower back area, roll up vertebra by vertebra until you're sitting up nice and tall. Core muscles engaged up and over as you reach forward, opening up the spine nicely, feeling it in the hamstring and glutes. Sitting back up nice and tall, and then again, vertebra by vertebra, segment by segment, smoothly down all the way, taking the arms back behind, and then bring the arms back down. So what are the modifications? Well, to start with, I would have a nice thick mat if you have a prominent tailbone, by the way, a prominent coccyx. To start with, sitting up nice and tall with the hands just behind the thighs. So inhale, and as you exhale, you tuck the tailbone, scoop and hollow the belly, and just roll back towards the sacrum, small movement to start with, and then coming back up nice and tall. And we'll leave the stretch of the legs. We want to get the lower back nicely stretched out first. Exhaling, and each time you can encourage your clients to go a little bit further and further, and this will allow them to find their range. Because, of course, they're all going to want to roll all the way down, and then they're going to get stranded at the bottom and probably lose their balance halfway. So this really does help them find their range. Further away the feet are, of course, the more weight they've got on the other side of the pelvis. And so they're going to have a little bit more balance, but then they're not able to hold on with their hands. You can break it down with the breathing. So you can inhale nice and sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, scoop and hollow roll back. Hold it there, inhale. And then as you exhale, smoothly roll all the way back up to the top. Inhale at the top. So that's really nice for those clients who are really taking a while to, it's surprising how difficult some people find it is to actually curve the spine. So for those clients, they're getting a little bit more time as you guide them down. Pause, inhale, exhale, scooping and holding the belly, coming all the way back up. Once they've found their range, you can make it a little bit harder for them. Inhale, exhale, rolling back. Once the arms are fully extended, take the hands away. Inhale to prepare, and if they can't get back up at that stage, they can use their hands to help. Otherwise, the next progression, of course, would be inhale, exhale. As soon as they feel as though their feet are going to come up off the ground, they've gone far enough. Inhale, pause, exhale, rolling all the way back up. And then you can add that straight leg. So a lot of people tend to ease forward from the hip. It's much more about opening up the spine so the hips stay still. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, restack. So you want them to feel the stretch of the back, but you want them to keep it safe. So for your beginners, just get them to think about rolling down through the spine, bit by bit, coming back up. And then gradually rolling down through the spine, reaching forward, using the core muscles to maintain the safety of the lower back. So from there, they can have their legs much straighter. And so getting down, of course, isn't the problem. You're going to find that after a while, they can smoothly roll down. Some of them might get to here and then. So you would get them to come back up again in a safe way, maybe rolling over onto their sides or hugging their thighs in and rolling themselves back up. And you would just get them to focus on just that edge before they lose their balance, and they can use their hands to help them get back up again. So before they lose their balance, they need to start to become body aware and bring themselves back up again with the use of their hands, because it's so much harder coming up. Now you will get some clients who seemingly can come down and then they get to here and they can't get up. Okay? A really nice way of just moving them on, because it can be a bit disheartening. They can kind of get stuck and not get back up for weeks and weeks. Get them to bring a leg in, inhale, and as they exhale, push the leg away. Still, they need to be using their abdominal muscles to do most of the work, but it just gets them over that little lip. Another way, you might find that some of them quite successfully coming almost up but not quite, they can use their elbows to just push them up. I prefer the leg. Some might get down to here, and even those two modifications aren't going to help, so you just get them to hug their thighs in and roll themselves safely back up, and then go through the process again until their abdominal muscles have really strengthened. So the main teaching tips with the roll-up: rather than using their abdominal muscles, clients will try and throw themselves up. So just get them to take a step back and use the modifications. Always cue to engage the core muscles, slow it down, and then they'll probably find with practice that they can actually roll up where they thought they couldn't. Cue to relax the shoulders and keep the chest open. They're going to end up with their shoulders up around their ears, especially when they're reaching for their toes, and on the way down as well. Any weight in front of them to help them down smoothly. So nice and open through the chest. Otherwise, they just can't breathe efficiently. So when they're reaching for their toes, it's not a hinge at the hip. That can take a lot of learning. So you could always hook a strap around the hip bones from behind and just hold their hips so that they can feel it really. Once they can feel that up and over movement and the stretch that they get through their back, they're likely to remember it. So the pelvis should be in neutral for the toe reaching phase. So it is nice to pause. You could, of course, exhale all the way up and forward, inhale, stack, exhale down. But I prefer to exhale to a nice tall sitting position with the spine stacked. That just helps get the pelvis into a neutral position. It helps get the mind focused. So to be able to roll up and roll back down, you do need a little bit of a tuck of the tailbone just to lengthen through that lumbar area. Some clients may well have to bend their knees a little to enable this. Imagery. Picking up a string of pearls and laying it back down works really nicely. Each pearl is a vertebra. Wrapping your body around a ball as you reach for your toes just to get that feeling of an up and over, a curve. Zipping up your legs, so squeezing the legs can really help. Flexing the feet might help. Legs glued to the mat for those who are quite mobile and don't need to bend their knees to get that pelvic tilt. Your spine is a capital C. Imagine your abdominals as a sponge with all the water being squeezed out as you roll up and down.